Hi, I'm Corey Baumeister, and welcome back to the How to Play Magic the Gathering series from Star City Games. Today we'll be going over card types. Get ready to learn all about creatures, lands, artifacts, enchantments, instants, sorceries, and planeswalkers. There are many different card types in Magic. Broadly speaking, Magic cards break down into one of two categories: permanents and non-permanents. Permanents describe any card you play that stays on the battlefield until it is killed or destroyed. Permanents include lands, creatures, enchantments, artifacts, and planeswalkers. Non-permanents are one-time use spells that go to the graveyard after you play them. These types of spells are instants and sorceries. You can figure out what any card is by reading the type line. The first line of the card has the card's name in the top left and its mana cost in the top right. The middle line has the card's type and expansion symbol. The first word in the type line tells you what kind of card it is. A creature will say creature followed by the type of creature it is. Let's look at Walking Corpse. As you can see in the top left, this card is named Walking Corpse, and its mana cost is 1 and a black. Remember from our last video that this means it requires 2 total mana to cast, one from a swamp and another from any other source. It is a creature and its creature type is zombie. The expansion symbol shows you it was printed in Core Set 2021. The bottom half of a card consists of the card's text box, where you'll find any ability or effect the card has. If the card is a creature, it will have its power and toughness in the bottom right. Walking Corpse has 2 power and 2 toughness. Power and toughness are often shortened to just the numbers when playing, so Walking Corpse will be called a 2/2. Creatures come in all shapes and sizes in Magic. Let's compare Walking Corpse with Serra Angel. Serra Angel costs 3 white, is an angel creature, has flying and vigilance, and is a 4/4. Creatures will all look similar, with their main differences being casting cost, type, ability, and power and toughness. Creatures are the primary way you reduce your opponent's life total to 0, as they can stay on the battlefield and deal damage for multiple turns. Next up, we'll look at lands. You'll note the casting cost of the 2 creatures so far included 1 black and 3 white. Lands produce mana that help you cast your spells. Let's start with basic lands. Basic lands have names in the top left like all other cards. The 5 basic lands are plains, island, swamp, mountain, and forest. Lands don't have mana cost because they are free to play. Each turn you can play 1 land. You can use a land to make 1 mana of a corresponding color by tapping it once each turn. Plains make white mana, islands make blue mana, swamps make black mana, mountains make red mana, and forests make green mana. Basic lands are the one type of card you can have more than 4 copies of in a deck. There are many other kinds of lands in Magic as well. Almost all of them tap for mana, but some have additional abilities or can create multiple colors of mana. Take a look at some varieties of non-basic lands. Tranquil Cove and Rugged Highlands can make one of 2 different colors of mana, white or blue, and red or green. Ketria Triumph and Rogran Triumph can make one of 3 different colors of mana: green, blue, or red, and blue, red, or white. They have an extra ability called cycling, but have a downside of entering the battlefield tapped, meaning you can't produce mana with them on the first turn they are played. Animal Sanctuary doesn't produce colored mana, only colorless mana, and has an additional activated ability that can buff some of your creatures. Memorial to Genius makes blue mana and also has the ability to trade it in to draw 2 cards later in the game. There are hundreds of non-basic lands in Magic that give you plenty of options to play alongside your basic lands. Next up are enchantments. Enchantments have persistent magical effects that influence the game as long as they're on the battlefield. There are 2 types of enchantments: global enchantments and auras. Global enchantments are played on their own and have broad effects that impact you or your permanents. Let's take a look at a couple global enchantments. Glorious Anthem is a 3 mana enchantment that grants your creatures +1/+1. Whirlwind of Thought lets you draw a card whenever you cast a non-creature spell. These enchantments will remain on your side until they are specifically removed from the battlefield. Now let's look at some auras. Auras are placed on your other permanents and augment them in certain ways, mainly creatures and lands. Notably, auras can be placed on your own creatures or your opponent's creatures. You can play Furor of the Bitten on one of your creatures to make it stronger, with the caveat that it has to attack each turn, while Mire's Grasp is mainly aimed at weakening or killing opposing creatures. There might be a situation where you'll want to put Furor of the Bitten on an opponent's creature and Mire's Grasp on one of your own, so keep an eye out for when those opportunities might present themselves. If the creature these auras are enchanting dies, the aura will also be destroyed and go to the graveyard. If the target of an aura is destroyed in response to you casting the aura, it will fizzle and go to the graveyard. So be careful when choosing what to enchant and when. Now let's take a look at artifacts. Artifacts represent machines or magical objects that are similar to enchantments in that they stay in play until they are removed from the battlefield. Most artifacts are colorless and can be played with any color of mana, but there are some that require colored mana. Check out a couple artifacts. Spinning Wheel is a handy tool that costs 3 mana and can be tapped for any color of mana, while also having the ability to tap a creature to prevent it from attacking or blocking. Bronze Sword is a type of artifact called Equipment. It costs 1 mana to play it, then 3 mana to equip it to a creature. Equip means attach to a creature to give the equipped creature its benefit. In this case, it is +2/+0. If the equipped creature dies, the Bronze Sword will remain on the battlefield so another creature can wield it. So far, we've only covered permanents. Let's switch over to the powerful one-time spells called Sorceries. Sorceries are magical spells that do whatever their text box says, then go to the graveyard. Sorceries and all other card types covered up to this point can only be played on your turn in your main phase. Let's take a look at Sorceries. When you cast Mind Rot, you target a player, almost always your opponent, and they discard 2 cards from their hand. Then you put Mind Rot into your graveyard. With Cultivate, you cast it, then follow the directions of the cards. Look through your library and find 2 basic lands, reveal them, put one onto the battlefield tapped, and the other in your hand. Then shuffle your library and place your Cultivate in your graveyard. Instants are like Sorceries, but you can play them at any point you have priority. You can play them on your opponent's turn, in combat, and in response to any spell a player casts. Once you pay its mana cost and play it, follow the instructions in the text box of the card, then put it into the graveyard. Here are some examples of instants. Reign of Revelation lets you draw 3 cards and then discard 1 anytime you want for 4 mana. Infuriate can give a creature +3/+2 whenever you want, whether you want to deal more damage in combat, or if someone is trying to kill your creature with damage, you can respond by making your creature large enough to live. Because instants can be played at any point you have priority, they are great for protecting creatures, killing creatures, or stopping other spells. Cancel is the prime example of this. If you are holding cancel when an opponent casts a spell you don't want them to have, you respond with it and counter their spell. When this happens, cancel and the spell that was countered both go to their owner's graveyards. Lastly, let's look at Planeswalkers. Planeswalkers are famous characters from the multiverse who you can summon to fight by your side on the battlefield. Let's look at Garruk Unleashed. Garruk has a name and a mana cost like other permanents, and its type line reads Legendary Planeswalker Garruk. You can only have 1 copy of a uniquely named legendary card on your side on the battlefield at a time. So you could have a copy of Garruk Relentless and a copy of Garruk Wildspeaker, but if you play another copy of Garruk Relentless, the legend rule causes you to sacrifice one of them. In the bottom right, Garruk has a 4 that dictates how much starting loyalty he has. Loyalty counters are a Planeswalker's own life total. When Garruk loses all his loyalty, he dies and goes to the graveyard like a creature. Loyalty counters are more than his life total though. They are also used to activate his abilities. Garruk has 3 abilities that you can activate on your main phase. You can only activate a Planeswalker once per turn on your turn, so choose wisely. Garruk's +1 allows you to give a creature +3/+3 and trample until end of turn. Doing this, the turn you play Garruk would increase his loyalty counters up to 5. The minus ability can only be used if you have at least 2 or more loyalty. To activate, subtract 2 loyalty counters from Garruk and make a 3/3 beast token. His ultimate ability requires 7 loyalty and gives you his special emblem. Now, your opponent isn't going to sit back and let you activate Garruk over and over again without putting up a fight. When players attack with creatures, they can choose to send creatures at your Planeswalker. These creatures can be blocked like normal, but if they are unblocked, they deal their damage to the Planeswalker and remove as many loyalty counters as they have power. Players can also send certain damage spells at Planeswalkers as well. How much use you can get out of a Planeswalker comes down to how well you protect and how you choose to use its abilities. Thanks for watching this How to Play Magic the Gathering video, and we hope you found it helpful. For more videos in this series, check out our Star City Games YouTube channel. And make sure to visit starcitygames.com for one of the best selections of Magic the Gathering singles, sealed product, news, and deck ideas in the world.